past 25 years, I have used a humble tin of cat food to teach marketing to thousands of students. This is a gem. I can teach pricing, I can teach distribution, I can teach segmentation, I can teach product positioning, I can teach packaging design, I can teach the ritual of opening a product. That's nice. I can teach buyer behaviour, and I can also teach with a humble tin of cat food that sometimes a person buying a product doesn't use it. And one thing I do is get a spoon. And I get my cat food. And I eat the cat food. And as I eat the cat food, people cringe. People cringe. I speak with my mouth full. And I'm struck by something. And it's been the same wherever I do this across the world to thousands of people. What strikes me is how can one event be interpreted in such drastically different ways? For me, the event is amusing. For me, the event is useful as a tool, because I know people will remember it. And for me, it's amusing because I love looking at everybody's faces in the audience. Now, this same event for you is disgusting. How on earth can that man do that? He must be disgusting. Oh, does he smell? Some people react to the smell before I've even opened the can properly. And that got me thinking about the meaning you give to an event. Because the meaning you give to an event becomes the event. And that, I think, is really important for us to think about. Because any meaning we give to an event starts to shape our mindset. And I wanted to tell you a story about me and how a meaning I gave to an event became an event which became destructive to me. It became a behavior in me through a mindset which sowed the seeds for my self-destruction for 37 years. 47 years. 37 years. Felt like 47 years. When I was happily growing up in the 1960s, way back when, I was really good at school. I was 8 years old. English was easy, maths was easy, painting was easy, colouring in was easy, everything was easy. My sister, who I held as a role model, I thought was really clever. And she was clever. I thought, I'm doing quite well. And my sister was asked by my parents to sit the entrance exam for the local private school, which she did. At the age of 8, I didn't really think much about it, but all I did think was, it'll be my turn next. That'll be great. Nice school. I like that. So I carried on working really hard, not really concentrating on life. But my sister, at the age of 11, didn't go to the local private school. Now, I sort of thought it was a little bit odd, but then I was 9 and 10. It didn't really register with me, because I thought, next year, I'll do the entrance exam, because I've worked really hard at school, work is dead easy, I will go to private school. When I come to the age of 11 to go to the big school, I'm not put into the exam. I'm not entered for the exam, and my sister hasn't gone to the private school. So at the age of 11, I tell myself a story. I give myself meaning to the event. The event of not doing the exam makes me give meaning to it. My meaning I gave it was, well, if my mum and dad didn't put my sister in, and she's really, really clever, I must be stupid. Now, if I'm stupid, after all these years of working really, really, really hard at junior school, what am I going to do? As an 11-year-old boy, I decided to never work again. Well, why should I? There's no point in me working again because I'm stupid. The hard work For me, the meaning for hard work is failure, because I'm stupid. Hard work will get me nowhere. So then what do? I become a very bad boy at school. Not naughty as in behaviour, but I didn't work at all. I did as little work as possible, and as soon as work started to go well, I pressed the self-destruct button, and I wouldn't hand in homework. I got 6, what they call O-levels, not very good ones. And I packed myself away to the local technical college to do A-levels, and it took me 3 years to get 1 A-level at the lowest possible grade, because all I did was muck around. Because if I did any work, there's no point doing work, because the meaning I give to the event, and my mindset is, I'll fail because I'm stupid. I scrape into a college, and I muck around at college. I have done acting lessons, I have gone to drama, I've got the gift of the gab, so I get into an advertising agency. But what I've done by now is given myself a chip on that shoulder for anybody I've seen who's gone to private school. I've got a chip on the other shoulder, so I'm balanced, for anybody I've now seen who's gone to a good university with a good degree. So when I'm at these advertising agencies, some very clever people, as soon as they would push back at me, I went into a really submissive behaviour. And I wouldn't push back, and I was pushed around because they're cleverer than me, and there's no point in me working hard because I'll fail. I did an MBA on the train, distance learning, that was all right, easy, but I'm stupid. I then decided to do a doctorate. I thought I could do a doctorate. My dad might think I'm clever if I do a doctorate. I did a doctorate. In my Viva, when I walked into the Viva, they said, you've passed before they started the Viva. The only changes I had to do was merge 2 chapters and turn my R squareds from uppercase to lowercase. But my dad was dead by then, so I couldn't prove to him that I was clever. And I just said, oh, it's just an experiment after all. I'm stupid. Every time anything happened in work, in consulting, that was going to be good, I self-sabotage because I'm stupid. There's no point working hard. Mother dies, 2005, can't really settle with her. In 2012, it's gone stupid. My 50th year. So I decided to just talk to the only elderly relative I've got left, and I talked this story through with her, because I have told myself this story. I've given meaning to the event. And this old lady said, no, David, your sister didn't want to go to private school. Oh, no. I said, well, why didn't Mum and Dad put me in? They said, well, you probably wouldn't have wanted to go either. So I thought, what's the point of the hassle? So I had wasted 50 years of my life. Well, not 50, but to my 50th year doing this. And what that forced me to do was reframe the question of the event. I had to look in the mirror. So I looked in the mirror. Oh, dear. And who said no? I had to break my reflection and story and start again. Now, in breaking the mirror, I had to break my superstition. So from there, I have with my research partner, spent our time looking at superstitions and behaviours and meanings we give to events. I had to break a superstitious behaviour I'd given myself about hard work. Now, superstition's interesting because somebody said, oh, no. Some of you were going, oh, what's he done? All I've done is put a hammer against a piece of glass with a silver backing to it. Now, superstitious behaviours are really interesting for the way they shape what we do at work and in life. Some superstitious behaviours we're aware of, some we aren't. In England, people who are superstitious of magpies. I know the chief exec of a FTSE 100 company who said to me, if I see one magpie and I don't see another one, I've got to say, good morning, Mr. Magpie. Because you've got to see 2. Now, in seeing 2, what if you don't see this? What if there is a second one there, but you don't see it? The second magpie. Does it have to be in a tree? Does it have to be in the next field? Is there a time limitation? If you're not British and you don't get it, do you, when you go to the UK Borders Agency, give you a passport, you get this superstition going in your head? It's weird. I broke a mirror like this in Croatia 2 years ago in front of a whole group of pharmaceutical sales reps. About 20 of them wouldn't get on the flight with me to go out of the country. Because the meaning you give to the event becomes the event, and there lies the problem. Sometimes we give meaning to events that give us weird behaviours, and a lot of it's unconscious. And as leaders, as managers, as parents, as friends, as family, as people in relationships, we need to be more aware of our behaviours. I know rugby players. I know one rugby player who has to pull his shirt out before he goes on the pitch, and another rugby player has to put his shirt in. I said, what if you go out with your shirt that should be in, then it's out? He said, oh, it's going to be a really bad game. Now, these superstitions are weird. And superstitions and meanings we give to events help shape our mindsets, and your mindset will get you in the end. My mindset was killing me. My mindset was absolutely killing me. So I had to take action of reframing the questions. And that really pushed my research partner and I to look at how we can work with people to get them to reframe questions, to get meanings to events in a more positive way. So we work with C-suite, we work with chairmen, business people, international athletes, ordinary, everyday people in the street, looking at things. Now, because I'm an academic, I have to have a model. Now, my model isn't a 2x2, a 3x3, or a 4x4. I've got a hierarchy. I have a triangle, not a square. Now, for us, your meaning you give to an event and your behaviours you give to an event are manifested in the behaviours that other people see in you. They're the tip of the iceberg. Now, your subconscious knee-jerk reaction to things, the behaviours are triggered by events that could have happened a long time ago. Somebody said something to you in the playground. A teacher said you couldn't draw. Your parents said you're no good at this, you're only good at that. You take these things people tell you and you turn them into stories and you give meaning to them, and that triggers your behaviours. But it's only when you look at things you can start to reframe them. So for me, the event was not doing my exam. The lens with which I focused from that point was, there's no point doing hard work. Because hard work is no point because I'm stupid. Now, because of that, I focused on anything that was going to do hard work, and I would say to myself, I'm going to fail because I'm stupid. So because of that, the meaning I gave us, all hard work is pointless if you're stupid. The only people who are good at stuff are clever people. I'm not clever because I've got double chips. Balanced, though. Now, because of that meaning, the thoughts I had were destructive. I would let people down. I would start things and I wouldn't finish them because there's no point. Now, because of that, my feelings were emotional. I was always hacked off. I thought, I've done it again. Why have I done it again? And for the period from the age of 10 until I was 50, I would think, why have I self-sabotaged again? Now, because I hadn't reframed the question and actually asked, and in fact, I only asked my sister a little while ago and I said, I'm going to tell this story. She said, yeah, I didn't want to go. You should have asked me. It's only when I re-asked that question to the event, I could change my lens and say, well, I could possibly do things if I wanted to, because if I do that, I can change my behaviour, which I am. And I want you to start thinking about this. Thinking about the stories you may have told yourself. Remember, you're the person who puts the thoughts in your head. No one else does. You can quite simply say, thank you very much. I'm not having that one in my head. It's up to you. When you look at stories that may have changed your behaviour in time, ask, where have these come from? What is the source of these stories? We work with leaders, managers, ordinary people, athletes, and when you start asking people to reframe the stories, they go, oh yeah, that's a bit nuts. I'm going to reframe things. And remember, as leaders, as managers of people, as parents, as friends, as uncles, as aunts, as family, you owe a duty of care to people around you in what you say to them. Because remember, if you're in a position of authority, as we looked at this morning, if you're in a position of authority, people will take you seriously. You have a duty of care to make sure that when you say things to people, you're aware of how they may internalise them. And my challenge to you, my request to you, as you leave here tonight, as you leave here as a person, as a human, as a business person, as whatever you are, to reframe the questions you ask yourself, to change the lens with how you look at things. And by doing that, you can rewrite stories of yourself in a more positive way and control your mindset. Because your mindset is always going to get you in the end, And if it's always going to get you, which it will, because you can't take your mind out, it's there. At least have it in a positive, structured way. I thank you very much.